To be honest, most of us don't have a habit of checking what is actually in the product we are buying. So, for all of you who are not reading the labels, here are 7 makeup brands you should avoid buying at all costs. But before we start, we need to understand that the makeup industry is doing a great job of hiding its flaws using marketing. For instance, when shopping, we see a recognizable logo, maybe a celebrity endorsement, a huge display in the store, and our brain automatically assumes it must be safe. After all, if millions of people are using it, what could possibly go wrong? The truth is, the cosmetics industry is a lot more complicated than most people think. Let's start with one of the biggest names in the entire cosmetic industry, L'Oreal. L'Oreal is practically everywhere. Walk into almost any drugstore, supermarket, or beauty store, and you'll see their products on the shelves. The company owns dozens of brands and has built one of the largest beauty empires in the world. Because their products reach millions of people across the globe, they also receive a huge amount of attention and scrutiny from researchers, consumer groups, and regulators. Over the years, critics have pointed out that some traditional L'Oreal formulas included ingredients like parabens and certain preservatives. Parabens are used to stop bacteria and mold from growing inside cosmetics, which is important because nobody wants contaminated makeup sitting on their skin. This is where the concern begins. Some scientists say parabens can mimic estrogen in the body, which may affect hormones after long-term exposure. On the other hand, regulators still allow them in small amounts, but many consumers today prefer to avoid them. Because of this, L'Oreal has started releasing more paraben-free products and cleaner formulas. Next on the list is Klairs. Now, this case drew a lot of public attention. At first, Klairs is mostly known for jewelry and accessories, but the company also sells makeup, especially products aimed at teenagers and younger customers. But a few years ago, independent testing discovered something very alarming in several of their cosmetic products. That is asbestos, the same material linked to serious health problems, and it's banned from many industrial uses. The contamination was linked to talc, a mineral often used in cosmetic powders. Talc can be safe when it's properly purified, but some talc deposits in nature are found near asbestos, so if the raw material isn't carefully tested, asbestos contamination can happen. When the reports became public, the story spread fast. Then investigations followed, and of course, several products were recalled. This raised serious concerns about how ingredients are sourced and tested, especially for products aimed at younger consumers. The next brand to avoid is Wet n Wild. Wet n Wild has built a huge fan base over the years, mostly because its makeup is very affordable, and to be fair, some of their products perform really well for the price. However, some critics have raised concerns about the quality of ingredients sometimes used in very low-cost cosmetics. One topic that often comes up is the possibility of trace heavy metals that can sometimes appear in lipsticks and colored pigments. Metals like lead can appear in cosmetics because of the natural minerals used to create certain colors. Most regulators allow extremely small trace amounts as long as they stay below strict safety limits. The discussion mostly comes from the fact that products like lipstick are used many times throughout the day. If these metals were present in higher amounts, they could build up in the body over time and may affect organs, the nervous system, or overall health. This doesn't mean every Wet n Wild product is unsafe, but critics say the obvious. Lower-cost brands often use cheaper pigment sources, so maybe it's better to add a few more bucks and buy a safe product. Next is a brand almost everyone recognizes, CoverGirl. CoverGirl has been a common drugstore brand for decades. It's one of those brands people grow up seeing in magazines, TV commercials, and beauty aisles almost everywhere. But, like many large cosmetic companies, it has also appeared in independent testing reports that found trace metals in some cosmetic products. As with other brands, these metals usually come from mineral pigments. The main concern isn't always that the metals are present, but how well those pigments are purified and tested before they are used in makeup formulas. Consumer safety groups often say that major global brands should follow extremely strict purification and testing standards, especially because millions of people use these products every day. Now we have to talk about the giant in the room, Johnson & Johnson. Most of us grew up with their baby powder and skincare in our bathrooms, but this brand has been the face of one of the biggest ingredient scandals in beauty history. It all comes back to talc. Over the years, J&J faced literally thousands of lawsuits from customers. The claims were heavy. People argued that using their talc products long-term led to devastating health issues, specifically ovarian cancer and mesothelioma, which is a rare cancer linked to asbestos exposure. While J&J has consistently denied these claims and fought to prove its products were safe, the legal pressure was massive. The fallout led to billions in settlements and eventually forced the company to pull its talc-based powders off the shelves in many global markets. But this wasn't just a J&J problem. In fact, it was a wake-up call for the entire industry. As a result, we've seen a huge shift towards safer alternatives like cornstarch, which gives you that same silky feel without the what-if ingredients. Number 6 on our list is Revlon. Revlon is another legendary name in the beauty industry that we all know. The company itself has been producing makeup for decades and eventually has built a huge global reputation. But in recent years, Revlon has faced both financial struggles and safety debates related to cosmetic ingredients. Ironically, independent testing has detected traces of heavy metals in certain lipsticks and powders used by the company. Another complication is that cosmetic laws vary widely across the world. Some ingredients restricted in Europe are still allowed in other markets. This means companies sometimes adjust formulas depending on where the product is being sold. For consumers, that can make things confusing because a lipstick sold in one country might not be identical to the same product sold somewhere else, starting with the quality. To wrap things up, we have to mention the wild card of the beauty world: low-cost global manufacturers that dominate discount stores and massive online marketplaces. While plenty of these budget finds are perfectly fine, consumer safety groups have raised some serious red flags. We're talking about everything from inaccurate ingredient lists to heavy metal contamination and zero consistency in quality control. The real issue is the black box of production. When a product is made for pennies and sold through a web of third-party sellers, it becomes nearly impossible to track how it was made, what's actually inside the tube, or if it ever saw the inside of a testing lab. This is the major reason why experts suggest sticking to brands that are transparent about their manufacturing. If a company won't tell you where their products come from or how they're tested, that deal might come with a hidden cost to your health. This doesn't mean you have to toss every cheap find in your cart, but to be extremely cautious or just go for a safer option. In reality, the burden of safety usually falls on the brands themselves, and regulators often don't step in until after people start filing complaints. That's why being your own advocate is a total game changer. Start by actually glancing at those ingredient lists and keep an ear out for product recalls. It's also worth doing a quick background check on a brand's reputation before you hit buy. When it's something you're putting on your face every single day, a little bit of awareness goes a long way. At the end of the day, makeup should be fun. Did you ever notice any side effects after using products from a specific brand? Write it down in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Cheers!